Talkback, the world's first Jewish-Chicano radio show. All right. Welcome to Phoenix Talkback. This is Phoenix Talkback, America's first Jewish-Chicano radio show. We are independent liberals in Arizona with America's first Jewish-Chicano radio show. Both Jews and Chicanos have numerous similarities, and there are many Jewish people in Mexico. Both groups stress the importance of family. Both groups possess a language unique to their culture, and both groups have a history of facing oppression and rising above it. And it is not unreasonable to view what is currently happening to Mexicans in the United States as similar to what has happened to the Jewish people throughout history.
We have seen exclusionary laws passed in this nation that have targeted Jews, Catholics, Irish, Chinese, and other minority groups. And we feel that the best medicine against discrimination, hatred, and indifference is sunlight and attention. And this is the goal of this radio show. I'm Bobby Hernandez, and I have been active in the Democratic Party for many years and in radio as well. I can trace my roots back many generations to the mid-1700s, to both Sonora and Chihuahua, Mexico. I am an American, I am Mexican, and I'm a proud Chicano.
I'm Lou, and I have been recently active in radio. I am also an educator. My grandparents originally immigrated from Russia and Poland in the early part of the 20th century. I grew up in the Midwest. I have been bar mitzvahed, and I am a Reformed Jew. The purpose of this radio show is to raise the consciousness of the bond between Jews and Mexicans, and will act as a clarion, a warning of the importance to stop history from repeating itself. That's right.
Yes. You know, when we say that we're wanting to act as a warning, we do not want to see any types of repeats in history. If we don't learn from our history, we're doomed to repeat it. And unfortunately, we're repeating it in some auspices in this country.
Okay. Yeah, we are. Maybe we should tell people where we stand on a variety of issues.
You got it. Now, let's compare ourselves here. A lot of these we do agree on. Some of them we don't. Now, when we talk about what's going on in Arizona, we have Senate Bill 1070, the Show Me Your Papers law. Now, Lou, what is your opinion on this?
SB 1070 is a great mistake in Arizona and for the nation. It's nativist. It's based on prejudice. It's done a great damage to Arizona. It's been divisive. It's cost a lot of money. It's a step backwards. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. When Senate Bill 1070 came out a few years ago, when Jan Brewer signed it, I was so offended as both an American citizen and as a resident of this state that they would actually go and pull something like this from our state legislature. And I'm glad that the author of this bill is gone. Now, the DREAM Act is another hot topic that's been in the news lately. What do you think about it?
The DREAM Act is, I think, the way to go, simply because we're talking about people who want to become dedicated, educated Americans, selfless Americans. Don't punish these kids for their parents' mistake. That's absolutely ridiculous. That doesn't take care of the problem. We're going to need more people. We're going to need more good people. And these people, these young kids, are willing to go through even greater sacrifices than people who were born here and assume natural citizenship. I mean, yes, I say yes on the DREAM Act. I say yes on the DREAM Act. You bet.
Right. All right, yeah, and I completely concur with what you said about the DREAM Act. I mean, we should allow these kids the opportunity to get ahead in this country, because this is what America is all about. Now, when we're going to change subject to women, does the war on women really exist?
Yes, it does. Yes, the war on women really does exist. You know, we didn't have such intrusive government intruding into the bedroom for so many years. This is just a strong arming. I mean, come on, you Republicans, you hypocritical Republicans who claim you want smaller government, a government that you can drown in a bathtub. What are you doing in people's bedrooms?
Exactly. I mean, what business do you have to do in my bedroom and Lou's bedroom? You know, it makes absolutely zero sense. And yet you call us liberals derogatory things when we try to point this stuff out. We do not want you in our bedrooms. And again, going on to not wanting conservatives in our bedrooms, marriage equality. That's been a hot topic this week.
Right. It's un-American to deny anybody rights. The purpose of the Constitution is to protect rights. Why should people who have a different sexual orientation? And again, it's really none of your business what people do in the bedroom, for crying out loud. You're not going to eradicate homosexuals or people in the LGBT community. So why fight it? You are a small, shrinking minority to try to prevent people from enjoying the same rights. And also, I say that even gays should be afforded the same opportunity to be as miserable as the rest of us.
And, you know, and as a Catholic Christian, I know my church doesn't agree with this position. But you know what? If an individual chooses to love somebody of the same sex, you know, who am I to stop them? Who is Lou to stop them? Who are you to stop them and tell them that they cannot love that individual?
And isn't that Christian to love?
Right, love thy neighbor. And, you know, and it's just that's what we need to do and start doing that to all of our fellow citizens. Now, another thing that came big in the election last year was is rape ever the woman's fault? And I don't even know why we're asking this question, but it apparently has to be asked, Lou.
I'll tell you why we're covering this, simply because the contrary statement has been put out by right-wing media that it could possibly be the woman's fault. Come on, are you guys the party of personal responsibility or what? I don't think you're the party of personal responsibility. No. That's right.
Yeah, you know, this is ridiculous. Rape a woman's fault. That is so stupid. I mean, rape is rape, regardless if it's done by a male or a female onto a male. It is stupid. Now, gun control is another hot topic, especially with what happened down in Tucson 2 years ago. What do you think about that, Lou?
You know, certain gun control measures which can be passed does not mean that the government is taking away your guns. I mean, don't be ridiculous. And there's no need for overkill.
Yes, and you know, on certain things about gun control, I don't like, but I'm a firm supporter of the Second Amendment. But I do support reasonable restrictions on guns. Some individuals should not possess high-capacity firearms and large-capacity clips to be able to kill people at will. What happened at Newtown was just a tragedy. And what happened in Tucson was a tragedy. Now, the war on drugs. Should we legalize drugs?
Yeah, I think we should legalize drugs. Americans like their drugs. They want their drugs. Give me the drugs. I want the drugs. I want the drugs right now!
Yes! No, not.
And not only that, but it's a commodity, for crying out loud. I want to remind you, hemp was legal, which resembles the growing of marijuana. It was legal for many years, and it's a cash crop. You can do a lot with it. It doesn't get you high, but for crying out loud, Americans want their drugs.
If we do the responsible thing that the Netherlands have done and legalize drugs, but yet regulate them again. There's regulation. Republicans don't like regulation, but hey, you know, regulate them with reasonable regulations. Then we would not have the problems in this country. We would not be making billionaires out of drug kingpins down in Mexico and South
I'd like to regulate those Republicans. That's what I would like to do.
And abortion is a huge topic. And you know, what do you think?
Hey, it's not my body. It's not my body, for crying out loud. And you know, I'm sorry, if you Republicans want to prevent that through education, then why not sponsor education? But that's not what the Republican game plan is now, is it?
No. And then we're going to get back into a big topic, going back into immigration, something that really affects the Hispanic and Mexican and Chicano communities by referring the undocumented as illegals. We will get back into that next right here on Phoenix Talkback.
I'm going to ask you that when we come back from the break. I'm going to ask you a variety of things, because after all, this is Phoenix Talkback, the world's first Jewish
and Chicano
radio show.
We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, welcome back to Phoenix Talkback, the world's first ever Jewish-Chicano radio show. We'll be taking your phone calls fairly soon here at Phoenix Talkback. I'll give you the number. Robert and I still have a few things we'd like to say.
Right.
But let me give you the number just so you can write it down. I'll wait until you get a pen or pencil and a piece of paper, okay? 602-277-5369. That's 602-277-5369. Very good.
And we definitely want to talk to some of you Tea Partiers out there because I know we're seeing your heads explode right now, and this is great for us.
We want you to bring us some tea.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I take mine with a little sugar. All right. Before we went to the break, Lou, we were discussing briefly about calling undocumented individuals illegal, and I think this is offensive. You?
I certainly do think so. That's the first step whenever an oppressor wants to try to legitimately and permanently try to oppress someone, is they reclassify them. These are human beings, folks. It's a definite insult to use the term illegal or illegals. I got news for you. Illegal is an adjective. It is not a noun. If you want a meeting of the minds, if you want cooperation, if you want peace in this civil war, a legitimized, legislated civil war, the first thing that is going to happen is an education of the use of terms. So the word illegal is counterproductive. And so are some other words, too, and we'll get to that a little later on.
Yeah, and most of those words that have been targeted toward us Hispanics and Chicanos are just downright offensive, especially those of us who are native to Arizona. And, we really need to start educating people, Lou.
You need to use words, folks. You need to use words like the undocumented. Undocumented, use that word. Use indigenous.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with using those words. You can learn how to use those words.
Yes, and like they say, if you can't say anything nice at all, don't say it.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Well, I am the Jewish person on this show, and Bobby, you're the Chicano.
Right.
This show has been advertised as the first ever Jewish-Chicano radio show. So I want to ask you and hear from you. What does Chicano mean? I mean, would you accept other terms such as Latino or Hispanic? So I'd like you to elaborate on the use of the word. What does it mean, Chicano?
Well, Chicano specifically means to Mexican Americans who are in the Southwest United States. And do I accept that term? Yes. I mean, that's who I am. That's my nationality, because I'm not. And you might find what I'm about to say kind of strange, but those of us who are Chicanos, we have to be more American than the Americans. And unfortunately, we have to be more Mexican than the Mexicans. So, I mean, the best way to identify ourselves is to call us Chicanos. Latino really doesn't fit, because it encompasses everyone who speaks one of the Latin-based languages, such as Spanish or Portuguese. And Hispanics, well, there's really no such place called Hispanica, so I'm not sure exactly where the origins of that term came from. It could be from the city of Hispaniola in the Caribbean.
The term Hispanic was originally coined in the Nixon administration for the 1970 census, and it's such an all-encompassing term is not fair.
No, and you have people who are Hispanics, quote unquote, that are Cubans and Puerto Ricans, and people from the Dominican Republic are considered Hispanic or Latinos. But that does not necessarily mean, that they fall in the same category as Mexican Americans do.
602-277-5369. We'd be glad to receive your calls and talk to you. Don't forget, we've pretty much explained our position on a variety of issues.
Right.
And we know that there are Tea Party people out there listening. So we know you're listening.
Yeah, I mean, this station is one of those stations that targets your demographic, and we definitely really want to hear from you. We want to hear, we want you to talk back to us. This is the nature of the show, is to talk back to us, Phoenix, and we want to hear from you. 602-277-5369 is the number if you want to jump in on the conversation.
Phoenix Talkback. That's the name of the show.
Exactly.
Okay, so we were talking a variety of our positions on things. We both are against SB 1070.
Right.
We're both in favor of the DREAM Act.
Correct.
We both are in favor of Obamacare, or Obama's Affordable Health Care Act. Mm-hmm. We both agree that there is indeed a war on women. We are in favor of marriage equality. We also agree that rape is never a woman's fault. I don't care how enticing or seductive a woman can be, a woman can appear. There is a matter of personal responsibility that each and every single one of you should be reminded of. So we want you to call in at 602-277-5369 and possibly talk about these things. That's what we want. Oh. Hello. Who's this?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. This is Bobby?
Yes, it is.
And no, I'm Bobby.
Oh, hi, Bobby.
Oh, hi,
You're
Bobby.
too.
Yes.
Hi. I wanted to call and compliment you. I'm over here volunteering and looking for the Easter rabbit too. So I'm multitasking here. And listening to one of my favorite radio stations on Sunday especially. It gives me a different view of life.
Right.
And it's happy to see you guys. And
Thank
to
you.
let you know that I, too, am part Jewish, part Russian, part German.
Hey, very good. Hey,
Yeah.
all right.
And probably Hispanic because I come from Texas, too, okay?
Uh-huh.
So you don't know what's in your genetic pool.
No.
If the nice little tea parties would start checking their genetic makeup, they'd find out some interesting things.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bobby. Yeah, and you are the person and the people that we're trying to reach out to, and thank you very much.
No, I am not. I'm not a tea partier. I'm just saying.
Oh no.
We're
Jewish
glad you
and
called.
Chicano, yeah.
And identified yourself as far as where you're coming from. So I imagine that you
I agree
you
with
agree.
everything you've said.
Thank you so
I
much.
have a problem, and I enjoy your program, and the way you're coming across is very honorable, and invite people to come, if they don't agree with you, to discuss it in a healthy manner.
Right.
Thank you so much, Bobby.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
You guys.
Thank
great
you.
one.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's great. Now, Bobby, was that one of your relatives?
No. I don't think they get this station down south near Casa Grande. So.
Oh, what do you know? The phone is really starting to ring. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. We have an error. We're sorry. Why don't you call back? Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think we scared them off.
Well, maybe they'll call back again. That first call was don't you think that was a great first
That
call
was
to ever
fantastic.
receive it? What did she say? She was, she identified herself as being partly Jewish and Russian and part Hispanic. And, all I can say is, hey, man, we're coming out.
Yes, man.
We're coming out. Here we come.
And this is the type of show that we've been wanting to put on for such a long time, because it is the issues that we're covering here today and from here on out are not only important to us, but important to the majority of Americans who care about their society.
Well, Bobby seemed to appreciate the fact that that we were discussing these things. And, for crying out loud, I'm frankly sick and tired of the Fox News mantra that sometimes is illogical, and I disagree with, and I don't watch them.
No.
Hi, who's this?
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
this is Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, I'm from California, but living in Montana recently.
Uh-huh.
I just love what you guys have to say.
Wow.
Thank you.
I love it.
That's 2-1.
Yay.
We're a hit, man.
Yeah.
We're a hit. So, what? The Supreme Court is discussing. You're in California. The Supreme Court is discussing the demise of the Defense of Marriage Act. What do you think of that?
Well, I think they're wrong.
Why?
In the demise, well, maybe I said that wrong. I mean, I agree with marriage equality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited here, so forgive me.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
okay. You know, I'll tell you this. The way the law works and the way we look at some of these issues is that sometimes it's a double negative.
Right.
And so you got to kind of figure
Well, it
out,
is.
huh?
It
It's
is
sort of a double
negative.
negative because the laws are passed to deny rights, and then in order to deny that, you're trying to deny a denial. It's kind of confusing. So at least we're talking about it.
At least we're talking about it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, in so many of the modern media nowadays, you just don't have this healthy discourse anymore, and that's what we want to do with this show.
They don't. I'm so sick and tired of hearing all the rhetoric.
Rose,
me too.
I think it's
people like Don Young.
I think it's great.
You know,
We'll talk about that after the break. We're leaving here.
Exactly.
Thanks for calling, Rose. And you're listening to Phoenix Talkback.
Have a good
at
one.
602-277-5369. We'll be right back after the news.
This is Phoenix Talkback. 602-277-5369 is the number. I am Bobby Hernandez along with Lou, and we are back. And we would like to thank you for listening to us this day. And I got Lou with the news.
Here's the Phoenix Talkback news. The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments this past week about DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, about marriage equality. John McCain, while visiting the Mexican border last week, tweeted that he saw a woman hop over the fence. Republicans in Washington have introduced the English Language Unity Act, designed to require all official functions of the United States to be conducted in English. 4 retired law enforcement officials have issued statements refuting Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio's statements in an email he sent out to solicit donations against his recall. Alaska Congressman Don Young used the ethnic slur wetbacks in a radio interview with a radio station in Texas. Young then half-heartedly apologized for the slur, saying he meant no harm. But he was subsequently denounced by Republican Speaker of the House John Boehner and Texas Senator John Cornyn. Okay, I want to thank you for the Phoenix Talkback News. So, Bobby, what do you think of the news? What do you think is the most contentious piece of news that I just mentioned?
It had to be about what Don Young said about us Chicanos by calling us wetbacks. And, you know...
yeah, Don Young. Don Young just offhandedly referred to all the immigrants that worked for him on his daddy's farm, just casually referred to them as wetbacks. The radio station did not ask for an explanation, and this reverberated through the blogosphere and in Twitter and on. This is what he said.
My father had a ranch. We used to hire 50 to 60 wetbacks and to pick tomatoes. You know, it takes 2 people to pick the same tomatoes now.
You know, this comes on the heels of a couple of weeks ago or so. Bobby Jindal made a statement basically trying to safeguard against this very thing. This is what he said.
We've got to stop being the stupid party. And I'm serious. It's time for a new Republican Party that talks like adults. It's time for us to articulate our plans and our visions for America in real terms. It's no secret we had a number of Republicans that damaged the brand this year with offensive and bizarre comments. I'm here to say we've had enough of that.
Come on, you Republicans. What part of stupid don't you understand?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I left the GOP, because of hurtful comments like that.
And this is what the GOP, they're half measures. This is Reince, Prebus, who spoke at the press club barely a week ago, reminding us it's not what we say, but how we say it. These are his exact words.
Because it all goes back to what our moms used to tell us. It's not just what you say, it's how we say it.
And you know what? I disagree. I really disagree with the guy. Half measure. And I'll tell you why. It's not how you say it. It's your platform. By design, the Republicans are doomed to die. And I wonder if anybody's interested in talking about this kind of thing. Hello, who's this?
Hola, amigos in Arizona. This is Isabel. I'm a Jewish Latina in Ohio.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
I wanted to call to congratulate you guys and all our friends in Arizona for bringing together Mexican Americans and Jews on all the critical issues, actually. And I totally agree with all your positions. I was just listening to your news about Young making the derogatory comment, and just wanted to say that, I'm an advocate for our Latino community and for immigration reform, and these comments have to stop, insulting our community and then saying, oops, I'm sorry. It just doesn't cut it anymore.
No, it doesn't. And
I did want to say, happy Easter. Last week was Passover.
Right.
And this is certainly a time to reflect on, the common values that we share as a nation, and that we are a nation of immigrants. And, we do need to respect one another. Our Jewish ancestors, also share an immigration experience, and I think you brought that up earlier on the show, and the struggles. And during Passover, we celebrate the fact that, our ancestors fled from Egypt, from slavery to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them have immigrated to the United States. However, the majority of them would not be able to come here at all today under today's immigration laws.
Well, Isabel, the difference is that Jews have been dispersed throughout history. And here's a case where Mexican Americans or Mexicans, they've always been here in the Southwest.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah,
Yes.
and, like I said at the onset of this show, I mean, I can trace my roots back to the 1700s. But yet, those of us who've been, who now live, get treated as if we just crossed the border yesterday. And it's just, it's sad and it's offensive, but unfortunately that's where we're at right now because of the current state of everybody's attitudes. And it's just shameful.
It is shameful. It's very shameful. And, I respect our Native Americans, our Mexican Americans that have been here forever,
Right.
And as we all know, this is a country of immigrants. And unless, you're a Native American, they're all immigrants.
Exactly.
They were all given an opportunity, to come here for freedom. And, freedom of religion, freedom from persecution.
Right. Yeah, and we have to embrace that again. And unfortunately, until we as a society do that, we're going to continue to have these issues in our society.
That's right. But, we're all here. I think we're really strong now. We're strong in numbers, all of our Latino, Hispanic communities. And, the great thing that I'm seeing is that, our advocacy numbers is larger and larger each time. And we're starting, although not there yet, but we're starting to drown out all the, nativists.
Right. This is the last gasp breath of air of trying to legitimize a sense of eugenics.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I hope
absolutely.
Russell Pierce and his ilk are listening. This is
do you
the
know
future.
who Russell Pierce is?
Absolutely. I follow all of the. Are you kidding? I know Arpaio well.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
So you know what?
I've done a lot of advocacy against English-only legislation.
And that's new. That's coming back.
I heard that from you, but I've issued lots of statements in the past, and again, it's all stemming from some of the same old Russell Pierce and Arpaios of the world, the same nativist group of people, the anti-immigrant movement and the English-only movement. So-
Isabel, what I'd like you to do is tune in next week, and we're going to give other people an opportunity to be heard, if you don't mind. But I want to thank you for calling.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
That was fabulous. Thank you.
Hello, who's there?
Hello,
Hello.
Hi.
and this is Margaret calling from the state of Delaware.
Hi, Margaret.
I wanted to congratulate you guys on your show, and I think it's awesome you're doing that.
Oh, thank you very much.
And hat tip to the caller before me, Isa, who took all the good material. But I have a suggestion.
Sure.
You should add one more ingredient to your pie.
What's that?
An Irish person. I am Irish. I was raised in Ireland, and my last name is Reyes.
Well,
and as Senator Schumer said to me when he found that out, God bless America.
Yeah, well, just a heads up to you. I'm actually part Scottish myself.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this really quickly, Margaret, is that we'll be looking into Irish Mexicans in the near future.
Yes, we have stuff. San Patricio's brigade that fought in the Mexican War. Very, as a Chicano, learning about these guys, they did a great service not only to our history, but also to bring freedom to the oppressed. And I like to say thank you, and to those guys, for doing what they did.
The San Patricio Battalion is still alive and well, and the support the Irish community gives the Chicano and Latino community, especially out here on the East Coast.
Great. And unfortunately, the kids here in this state, unfortunately, are being denied the right to learn about these guys, as well as what really happened at the Alamo in 1836. And it's up to us, not only as parents, but also as voters, to ensure that our children are being taught these important facts in our history. And
if we don't study history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what's happening today. And that's the purpose of this show, is to remind us of that which we need not to repeat.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, I have a daughter, and in her room hangs 3 flags: the Irish flag, the Mexican flag, and the American flag.
Well, Aaron, go brah.
Thank you for calling, Margaret.
Good luck, congratulations.
Thanks, Margaret.
We'll be returning to Phoenix Talkback right after these messages.
And we are back to Phoenix Talkback. 602-277-5369 is the number to get on the conversation. And now, as a community service, we're going to go to the community calendar. These are events coming up in the next week or so, and for you to go and enjoy what's going out there, not only here in Arizona, but out there in the rest of the world. All right, on April Fool's Day, April 1st is, April Fool's Day. So be prepared for jokes, pranks from your coworkers and loved ones. On April 2nd is World Autism Awareness Day. On April 4th, there will be a seminar about the recall against Joe Arpaio, which is sponsored by Respect Arizona. It's going to start at 6 o'clock in the evening over at the Union Hall at 210 North 24th Street here in Phoenix. The doors will open at 5:30. On April 5th, there will be a humanitarian concert and CD launching in support of immigration reform, sponsored by the Tequila Party. It'll be starting at 7 p.m. Friday night at 1005 North 2nd Street. And coming up on April 10th, there will be a hearing at the Phoenix City Council on the effects and side effects of Senate Bill 1070. That will start at 10 in the morning.
All right. Thank you very much, Bobby. We also have another little feature that we'll be using in the future. And I hope that everyone out there who's a big supporter of Joe Arpaio will take note of what we'll be doing. As a matter of fact, we're just going to give you a short little taste of it right now. Just a little taste. Nothing real elaborate. Because as far as I know, what has Joe done? Not all the people around him, but what has Joe done except go home from falling on his butt, probably because he lost consciousness and he broke his... Anyway, you know about that story, right? But in the future, you'll know we're talking about Joe Arpaio if you hear this.
I'm an elected constitutional sheriff. I'm the poster boy for racial profiling. Like the clothes they're wearing, their speech. We raid businesses. We arrest Latino people. They go directly to jail. That's what this is all about. I do it all the time. Arrest Latino people, send them back to their country. How do you know they don't like me? And that's the way it is. What difference does it make? What difference does it make?
Yes, that's right. We're coming after you. You know what we're talking about.
Yes. Oh, that's some great stuff.
So in the future, and that's an invention of Bobby here. I got to give Bobby a little credit for the invention of our Pile Watch. There's also a Facebook page. And let's get back to our content. We were talking about Don Young.
Right.
And again, as a reminder, this is what Don Young said. Nothing, no real apologies for...
My father had a ranch. We used to hire 50 to 60 wetbacks and to pick tomatoes. You know, it takes 2 people to pick the same tomatoes now. It's all done by machine. Wetbacks, 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 wetbacks.
All right, look, folks, let me tell you. Very important. Words are our worlds. Words are our worlds. Don't sit there and say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, what do you think leads to all the sticks and stones? The words. So I'm telling you, we've got to be very careful about words, and this is going to require an education on using different terms in order to humanize humans. We shouldn't have to dehumanize humans. We've heard from actually more than just one Jewish Chicano person throughout the nation this morning. Remember, I'm the Jewish component of the show.
Right.
I want to remind you what happened in Nazi Germany years ago. It was very easy in the minds of the regime in Germany to exploit the German Jews, because first what they did is they conducted a propaganda campaign to reclassify them as vermin. You know what vermin is, don't you? You know, we're talking about rats and mice.
Stuff that needs to be exterminated.
That's right. What do you do with vermin? You exterminate them. And so the Germans honestly did not think that they were killing other humans. They were killing vermin. And this is all from the words we use. So no, do not use the word illegal when referring to people. Illegal is an adjective. It is not a noun. Do not use the term wetback, because that is an ethnic slur. It's offensive. And if someone says to you they don't like the term, who are you to try to take that away or not to acknowledge it
or justify it? You know, it's offensive. I mean, Lou brought it up perfect. What the Nazis and the National Socialists did in Germany was dehumanize the Jews just to make it easier to put them in concentration camps and exterminate them. 6 million people. Are we going to allow that to happen again?
It was more than 6 million people. It was 6 million Jews. It was approximately 6 million other people around Europe, the Gypsies, a lot of Catholics. Okay, so we're not talking just about the Jewish people, I'm telling you.
Right. You know, and we have to start changing hearts and minds, and we need to really come back come back together as a society and start caring about one another again. You know, going back to one of our callers who was Irish, there was a lot of Irish discrimination back in the early 20th century, late 19th century, early 20th century, where unfortunately Irish individuals were being discriminated against, much like what Chicanos and other Hispanics are being treated today.
Well, you see, Robert, this is what happens whenever there is an economic downturn, is that the last people to arrive, anyone who, if there's a difference that can be exploited, they are exploited. Now, let's take a look at the Irish. I mean,
Exactly.
for crying out loud, they had white skin.
And they were, they did.
I suppose the only way you could tell if they were Irish is if they spoke with an Irish accent, spoke English with an Irish accent. Maybe what they looked like, because after all, people were not as sophisticated back then about their looks, unless you were ultra wealthy and could afford to have someone dress you.
Right.
Well, come on, we're talking about the majority of people nowadays, and whenever there's an economic downturn, and we can get into that subject too, someone's going to be discriminated against, and that's what is happening today. And we need to rise above that kind of prejudice and discrimination.
We need to rise above the hate. That's what we need to do as a society, and turn back these individuals who are propagating this. We need to say no to Fox News. We need to say no to Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Herman Cain. We're not going to tolerate this hate anymore, not only against Latinos, not only against Chicanos, but against other minority groups, blacks, Chinese, Jews. We need to say no, enough is enough, and put an end to it.
And I want to talk a little bit more about this Don Young guy who on this past week referred to the newly arrived migrant farm workers on his father's farm as wetbacks, and he thought nothing of it. And the radio station didn't say anything about it. No follow-up question. And the next thing you know, how many Republicans are denouncing it? And if the Republicans want to rebrand themselves, are you kidding me? You want to rebrand yourselves, you need to fix your platform, because saying something nice, I mean, what's the difference between saying, oh, that guy's a wetback, and saying, oh, that guy is a wetback? There's no difference.
No,
we're listening to you, and don't insult our intelligence.
Yeah, we're not stupid.
Hello?
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 Am I on?
Yes.
This is Sam in Phoenix. I just wanted to make a comment on, well, first I should say, Mazel Kamati, Mazel Tov, Shalom on your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Looks very hopeful. Like the issues you're talking about, I want to say about this Don Young guy, just, the takeaway from that is really that we should just understand that there is something fundamentally wrong with the way that certain people think.
Exactly.
And that he's not willing to let go of words like that. And he honestly, you saw him in an interview, or you can hear his voice, there was no shame in that word. No. He didn't believe for a second that there was anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and the only way he apologized was saying, oh, I'm sorry if some people were offended.
Yeah, that's a weak apology, in my opinion.
Someone has to tap you on the shoulder and say, excuse me, sir, that was absolutely racist and uncalled for a term. And he has to say, oh, there's something wrong with the way that guy thinks. He can't.
Yeah, it kind of, and because of stupid comments like this, is why Latinos, Hispanics, Chicanos, that's why they are leaving the GOP in droves. That's why I left. That's why a number of my friends and family have left, because of stupid comments like this.
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Bobby, I'm really interested in this show, and I'm going to be paying attention to see the kind of awareness y'all can raise from the people that are listening. Looks like he's got a good outreach.
Well, please tune in next week, Sam. And Sam, thank you very much for calling. We're out of time, but thank you, Sam.
First show in the can.
All right. This has been Phoenix Talkback. I'm Lou.
And I'm Bobby.
And we'll be here next week. Same Phoenix Talkback time. Same Phoenix Talkback station. Thanks for listening.
Deus Amat.